Today we are going to start our course name Electric Circuits ENGR 206 course. So today is the first class and online class due to the COVID issues, and I hope you hear my voice and my slide also visible for you, and inshallah everything is going fine. So the today class it is talk about the basic information about the course and why you want to study this course as an engineer, and what are the basic concept and theorems and laws in electrical engineering and basic components in electrical engineering. So now everyone nowadays every house they are using electric and electronic circuits, even TV and tape recorder and whatever it is, all the electronic components we are using most of all the houses, more than 60-70% is occupied, laptop and everything. So it's very important the student as an engineer you should know the basic fundamental how the components are working and what is the name of the component, what is the shape of the component, what is the characteristics of the component, and how we make a circuit for different applications. So this is the main motivation of this course. Okay, so now we move to the basic. First one, before we enter to the electric circuit, we want to know the concept of what is linear and what is non-linear. This one is not new word for us because already you study in your school physics and chemistry and math. The teacher teach you what is linear problems and non-linear problems. And linear problems means what? It is inherently more easily solved than the non-linear problem. So linear problem very easily we can find the solution. But what about the non-linear problem is very difficult, opposite to the linear. So what the mathematician or what is the engineer or what the scientist people are they doing? First they convert this non-linear problem into the linear approximation problem by mathematically. Then they find the solution of this type of problem. So for this slide we are understand linear and non-linear problems, and the linear very easily we can find the solution, we can solve the problem. But for non-linear we have to convert first linear approximations or models to the physical situation, then we have to find the solution of the non-linear problem. This is the basic fundamental of the concept of linear and non-linear problem. And the second one, what is analysis and what is design? In the electric circuit, the word analysis and design is very important. And analysis is the process through which they determine the scope of the problem. Scope means aim of the problem, and obtain the information required to understand it and compute the parameters of the interest. And the design is the process by which we synthesize something new as part of the solution to a problem. So analysis is a process. A design also is a process. But analysis, we determine the aim of the problem and obtain the information in this problem to understand and compute the parameter of our interest. But a design is a process by which we synthesize something new, novel, as a part of the solution to a problem. The crucial part of the design is analysis of potential solution. So here we see many technical problem in the world. We can find the solution, but the solution many people they find different solution. For example, in COVID medical issue, people are they finding many people they find the injection and vaccination for the COVID, but which one is potential solution? Which one is the more optimal, more very good one? That is still under the research. So, like in electrical engineering, and we have to find solution for the problem, but it's very important, very critical part of design is analysis of the potential solutions. That is very important. The next one, what is the relationship of circuit analysis to the engineering? The is in addition to preparing for further study in electrical engineering, we also will develop a methodological approach to problem solving, the ability to determine goals, a particular problem, and skill at collecting the information needed to effect a solution or find the solution. The last one is opportunities for practice at verifying the solution accuracy. So we have to collect the data, we find the solution, but we want to know our solution is how much accuracy, how much efficient one. So we cannot accept every solution is a good one. So we want to compare around 10, 15 solutions are there in particular problem. We have to analyze, we have to check the accuracy, which one is the most good one. So that is the relationship of circuit analysis to the engineering. The next one is the problem solving strategies. This is very important flow chart in all the problem, not only electric circuit and all the problem after you graduated, inshallah you are becoming engineer. When you go to the company also, you have to apply this is a basic flow chart to solve the problem of any type of engineering problem or mathematical problem or in society problem or community problem, whatever the cases. So what they set in this flow chart, and first of all you have to read the problem steadily and slowly. So we have to first, the problem is come to you when you say when you are becoming engineer in the company. Okay, then first you have to read the problem, try to understand the problem. So initially you have to read and slowly and carefully for understanding the problem. Second one, what they said, first of all, second one, you have to identify the core of the problem. So identify the aim of the problem. And third one, you have to collect the known information. So you have to collect the data to find the solution of the problem. Next one, you come for the decision. So we have to make a plan. So how we are going to solve the particular problem. The next one, you have to find the appropriate laws or mathematical equation or the logic of the solution. The next one, you have to make a determine if additional information is required or not. Initially you collect some information. When you go to apply in real method, so you need some additional information to solve the problem. So that also you have to check. If you have already enough information, there is no problem for you to work and find the solution of the problem. If some cases you don't have the sufficient data, then you have to collect the remaining data, then only you can get the solution of the particular problem. Okay, after I find the solution, so I have to go for decision and I have to check my solution and verify the solution accuracy. So how I check as an engineer? So we have the standard, for example, IEEE standard and mechanical engineering. They have some other standards and electrical, civil engineering, and all the engineering. Already we have the standard. So once we find the solution, we want to compare with the standards. So the standard and in our solution, the requirements are meet. So our solution is good. So we can go for real-time implementation. So this way, you have to solve the any problem. This is the basic and fundamental strategy, and is help you when you go to the company as an engineer and when you solve the problem in the exam also. Okay, where for example if I conduct the exam and I give the problem, first of all you have to read the problem very carefully. What is the problem, what is the objective of the problem, what is the objective means what is the question actually of this problem. And the second one, we have to collect the data. Then what are the data given? For example, I ask you to find the force. Okay, so you have to find the force F. So you should know the formula for the Newton's law of m multiply a. So now mass you want and acceleration you want. If some problem directly given m and a, if some problem is not given and only m is given, acceleration not given, they give the velocity, then you have to find first of all what is the acceleration. Then you substitute in the mathematical formula F equal ma, m multiply a, then you have to find the source force. And so this way you have to study the problem, then you collect the given data, identify what is the whole aim of the problem. And after you get, for example, I give m equal 10 and a equal 5, so you should get the 10 multiply 5, it is 50. But when you make a calculation, I do some mistake. If you get 500 or 500,000 means it is not realistic answer. So you have to check whether the answer is more realistic, more accuracy, and you have to one more check this multiplication is okay and everything solution is okay. So this way, for basic example, I give you in exam also you can apply this type of strategies and methodologies. And the next slide, we start or we enter our electric circuit. Concept is the basic components of the electric circuit. So what are the basic components of the electric circuit? And everyone, okay, from the school days or now also in your home, some of the electronic equipments are damaged. So once you see the damaged equipment, so you can open, you can see the picture. In the picture they give many green color PCB board. So they have give so many electronic components. So this type of component you can see, already you saw in your home, but you don't know what is the name of the component and how it is working and how they design. And this is the one you are going to learn from this course. So now we move to the next slide, and how the components are working, what is the name of the component, how to select, how to design the circuit, everything is covered in this course. The next one, the fundamental units of the system. So this one already you study in physics too, and the SI system. And we have the units, so two units. One is base unit, another one it is derived units. And the base units, for example, we can say is a meter, okay, and kilogram, and seconds, and ampere, and also Kelvin, mole, and candela. These are some of the selected base unit I show in my slide, but many things are there. Okay. And what is the derived units? And this is the joule, the unit of the work, and the unit of the energy, and power in terms of watts, or we can write in terms of joule per second. So what is the difference of this system units, base unit and derived units? Base units already the standard units, and the derived units means they derive from the base units. So that is the concept. So 1 watts equal to 1 joules per second, from where they derive from the base unit. So that is the difference of base unit and derived units. Student, you have any questions now? You can ask, and I continue if you have no questions. And for example, what is the unit prefixes? So for the unit prefixes, you can see the factor 10 power minus 9. The name of the factor is nano. So nowadays the people they said nano sim. In our mobile phone also they said nano sim. We buy, we use it, nano technology mobile phone, and nanotechnology laptop, and nano cell, nano solar cell, and everything we know nano. But what is nano? Nano means very small size. And we can say the mobile phone, the size is nano size, slim size. Okay, so this nano means what? 10 power minus 9. It's a very small and minimum size. That is the meaning of nano. The symbol is N, the first letter of the nano. The second one is the micro. The micro also we hear nowadays microgrid and micro technology and all those things. So what is micro? It is a 10 power minus 6. It's a fact. And what is the unit? Is mu, the symbol. And next one is milli. This one already we know, very familiar. Okay, millimeter, milli. So this milli is a 10 power minus 3. Is the unit symbol is a m. And kilo, it is a 10 power 3. 10 power 3, this is also we know 1 kilo, 2 kilo of food, and chicken and whatever it is, that is in terms of kilo, that is 10 power 3, and it is the symbol is K. The last one, it is a mega, is 10 power 6, is the big, is M. Okay, so how we convert these factors? For example, is given 12.3 milliwatts. This is the unit of the power. So how I convert in terms of watts? It's very simple. We know already milli means 10 power minus 3. So 10 power minus 3, if you make it multiply with 12.3, then you get the result of 1.23 into 10 power minus 2 times of watts. So this way we can convert in one factor to the another factor value. So this is the SI units and prefixes and with the symbols. Okay, students. The next one, we go to the basic concept of what is charge. This is the word also not new. You study in physics too. And what is charge is a first of all, you should know charge is conserved. It is neither created or not destroyed. The symbol of the charge is a Q, capital Q, or somewhere they are using small q. And the units of the coulomb is C. And the smallest charge is electron. We have three charges we study in physics fundamental: electron, proton, and neutron. Okay, the corresponding value also we study in electron is a minus 1.602 10 power minus 19 coulomb, and proton is a positive value. In most circuit, the charge is motion or electrons. The charge means what? Is motions of electrons, and that is the definition for the charge. The next one is the current. The current and the charge, how we compare. The current is the rate of charge flow. So if in this figure you can see we have the cable, for example, and the arrow mark is enter, the charge is enter. So these are the colored one dots are individual charges, and this is the cross sections of the cable, and the charge is flow from this left side to the right side. The direction of the charge motion is given. So how they define the current is the rate of charge flow, and what is the unit of the current is 1 ampere. You can write ampere, AMPER, or you can just write capital A. This is also unacceptable. So 1 ampere means what? 1 coulomb per second. So 1 coulomb of charge flow from one end to another end within 1 second. That is called 1 ampere. That is the unit of the current. Okay, so you can write in shortly 1A equal to 1C bar S. S is for second, C is coulomb, and A is the ampere. And the next one, okay, for this slide, they give you two figure. One is 3 ampere, the direction of the current flow is given. Another one is given minus 3 ampere, the direction is given opposite. The question is here, the current designed by I or small I is the rate of flow of charge. Current must be designed with both a direction and a magnitude. So the current must be designed both direction and magnitude. So keep this point with you. Then these two currents are same or not. Now you have to answer the question. So the second point, you keep it your mind and read it again. Current must be designed with both a direction and a magnitude. So now based on this concept, how to answer these two currents below figures 1 and 2 are the same or not. Okay, so now as an engineer, you have to look. The first one is 3 ampere. The direction of the current from, I can say, from the down to up. Okay, and the another one is a minus 3 ampere. It is coming from up to down. So if you see the magnitude, these two magnitudes are, one is positive, another one is negative. Then the same time, the direction of the current also opposite. So now we have to come for the conclusion, and these two currents are same, because if I, for example, if I select the second one, if I remove minus, now I compare these two currents are same or not, I can say no. Why? Because this current direction is opposite. But for this case, the minus is there, so it is cancelled the direction of the opposite current direction. So automatically it is similar to the first figure. So what is the conclusion of these two figure? These two currents are same. The next slide, current and charge, it is the rate of change of charge with respect to the time. That is the mathematical derivation dq by dt. So these two figure, the first one is current charge, the second one is current after differentiating the charge. This is just for example in mathematically how we get the current with respect to the charge depends upon the time. The next one, the basic term in electrical engineering is a voltage. So what is voltage? In this voltage means what? When 1 joule of work is required to move 1 coulomb of charge from A to B, there is a voltage of 1 volt between A and B. So what they mean here, if you see the right side figure, we have 4 figures. The first one, for example, it is figure A, B, C, D. And what is the definition of the voltage or potential? They said when 1 joule of work is required for what? To move 1 coulomb of charge from the point A to point B. So, for example, we want to move one table from your one room to another room. So what do you require? You require for work, that is the force. So what do? You go and take small table means you take, and big table means you and your brother or family members they take the table and move from one room to another room. So now compare this work with the definition of the voltage. They said if you want to move 1 coulomb of charge from point A to point B, you required 1 joule. There is the voltage of 1 volt between the A to B. When you move the coulomb of charge, 1 coulomb of charge by 1 joule of work from A to B, so here the potential occur, that is called, we say, 1 volt. Okay, now the second point what they mention here, the voltage capital V or small v across the element require both a magnitude and polarity. So example, they give 4 figure here, figure A, figure B, figure C, figure D. So now you compare figure A with figure B, it is equal or not. So now the magnitude of the voltage of the figure A, it is a minus 5 volt, and the terminal A is the positive and terminal B is the negative. And the same time, if we go to the figure B, and the terminal A is a negative and terminal B is the positive, is opposite one, but the magnitude of the voltage is the plus 5 volt. So this is the minus 5 volt, this is the plus 5 volt, and the sign of the terminals also change. So now you compare these two figures. According to the concept of voltage, the voltage across an element require both a magnitude and a polarity. So magnitude and a polarity, so both you have to compare. So in this case these two figures are same. Okay, now the question, for example, in figure B, I remove the in figure A, I remove the minus, but I keep it the rest of things same. So if this case, this is same, no, it is not same, because the terminal A and B is a different sign. But for this case, this is the two are same. Similarly, if you go to the figure C and D, you can compare these two figures also same, since the basic concept of voltage and is a magnitude and polarity is we have to consider before we select this terminals are same or not. Okay, students. And the next one, if you go to the next term is a power. So in electric circuit, the basic terms very important: charge, current, voltage, and power. So the power is a combination of voltage and current. So we can mathematically we can write P equal V multiply I. So what is power? How we define the power required to push a current I into a voltage V joules per second is P equal VI. So figure the right side is clearly given. Terminal A, this is terminal B, for example. We want to push a current into a voltage V, so we need a power. That power we can say P equal V multiply I. Okay, so when power is positive, the element is absorbing energy. So the power, the basic, very important concept. So power is a positive or power is negative. So power is positive means what? The element is absorbing energy. So when power is negative means what? The element is supplying energy. So what is the example? Good example we can say. When power is positive, the element is absorbing energy. Means, for example, in your house, you are using air conditioner, you are using TV, you are using speaker, and all the electronic equipment you are using. Finally, what happened? Your country electricity company, they give you bill to pay the money, electricity payment. So why they give you? Because you are absorbing in their energy. And for example, you close your house 1 month, you went to the America and enjoy in Europe and whatever it is. After you coming back, you see in your electric meter, and you are shut down 1 month in your home, nobody use it, nothing, there is no lights, no speaker, nothing. So that the company, they give you zero money bill. So what do you understand? Absorbing energy means all the electrical equipment, when you are using electrical and electronics equipment, this absorb the energy. And this is, we say, positive. Power is positive. The second one, what? The power is negative. So what is power is negative means is a supplying energy. Supplying energy means what? We can say battery, for example. So we buy the battery or we charge the battery in our mobile phone morning before you come to the college. Then you are using up to the evening. Morning 100 percentage you are charged full, and after you come to the college and you finish the class and everything, and you left the college around 8 to 4 o'clock. Now you see your mobile phone. In meantime, you are not do the charging. Maybe you have 60-70%. It depends upon the usage. Means what? The battery supply energy to your mobile. You are using app, Facebook and Twitter and what are the thing, calling and everything. So this is the example for the power is positive means what and power is negative means what. Okay, student. The next one, they give you example of the power. In this figure A and B and C, you see here figure A, the current value is given 3 ampere. The voltage is 2 volt. The figure B is a minus 2 volt and minus 3 ampere, but the direction is different. And the last figure C, it is 4 volt and minus 5 ampere. So now how we are going to calculate the power of this three figure? So figure A, so how we calculate? We know the formula is voltage multiply current, but very carefully for the magnitude with the sign, the direction of the current. So figure A, the power P suffix A, figure A power, so plus 6 watts. How they get? We multiply I. So how much voltage? It's 2 volt. How much current is 3 ampere? So 2 multiply 3, simple calculation, you get the plus 6 watts. Means the power is positive. Means the energy is absorbed. Okay, either lamp or speaker or TV or laptop and whatever it is. The second figure, what is the element here inside this colored diagram? Based on the power, we can tell. Number one, figure B, and we have the voltage is minus 2 volt and the current is minus 3 ampere. So if you multiply minus 2 and minus 3, and you get the plus 6 watts. So again, the element of the figure is absorbing element. We can say lamp or motor or air condition or fridge or microwave. The last figure, it is figure C. In the figure C, we have to calculate the power, then only we know what is the element of this one. So figure C, we have the voltage is 4 and the current is minus 5. So if I multiply plus 4 with minus 5, I get the minus 20 watts. So if it is minus 20 means the power is negative. If the power is negative means is supplying energy. Okay, so our electricity company, they supply the energy to us. and we are absorbing the energy by using our electrical loads and battery also. Okay, and so this the concept for the power is a positive or negative. Then we identify our element is absorbing or delivery. So next one. Next one is, what is the meaning of circuit element? The circuit element in electrical engineering has two terminals, and now three terminal elements also available in the market, even four. And the relationship between the voltage V across the terminal and the current I, voltage across the element V and current I through the device define the circuit element model. So the circuit element model means what? The relationship between the voltage across the element and current flow through the element, that is called circuit element model. Okay. Next one, voltage sources symbol. So how we give the symbol of voltage sources? Okay, when you buy the mobile phone for okay, they give you manual, they give you big diagram, battery symbol and black symbol and earphone symbol. And how you know this is the battery? Because already you study what is the battery symbol once you see the manual of the mobile phone, and you know this is the battery. So this is the earphone symbol, this is the USB symbol, everything already you study, already it's stored in your memory. So like in electrical engineering, when you saw the electric circuit diagrams in the books or drawing, when you go to the company, they give you just a drawing, only symbol, they are not mentioned this is voltage, so this is the current source. So if the case, how you know as an electrical engineer or electronics engineer, this is what is the element in the diagram based on the symbol. So this symbol is meaning of voltage sources. So we have three, A, B, C. So what is the difference of these three symbols? So before that, we want to see here the statement: an ideal voltage source is a circuit element that will maintain the specified voltage across its terminals. Okay, the second one, current will be determined by other circuit elements. So if you see the figure A, it is the DC voltage source and minus and plus. Okay, DC. So we have DC and AC. Okay, DC is a battery, for example, and the AC from the your country electricity company, they provide in our home, our company, our industry, our college, and whatever it is. Okay, the figure B, and they give you DC voltage source with the current direction is given. The figure C, it is given similar to figure B, but the current direction is opposite. So all these symbols are DC sources, DC voltage source. Okay, the next one, the current source. So we have major in electric two sources, voltage source and current source. So what is the shape of the current source? You see the diagram here, they give you one circle with one arrow mark. If the arrow mark is up or down, this depends upon the current direction. So here they say standard up. So they mention here I is a current, S means source. So source current symbol. Okay, so this is for ideal case, and if you go for practical case, they have here small resistance. Okay, that we will study in later detail. Next one, so what is battery symbol? Okay, so if you see the below diagram, okay, already we know the DC voltage source, I explained to you, and the figure B is specifically when you are bacha, when you are kids, your father or your family, your mother or relatives, they give you gift like battery car. Okay, so once you they give you, what do you do when you are small, 4 years old boy or 5-year old boy, and the car is operated by the battery, you don't know how the car is working. Okay, you try to run, but the car is not working because there is no battery inside the car. So what do? You go to the your father and our mother, our relatives, and whoever is available, your brother. and tell him why the car is not working. Okay, why is not car running? Then they said, oh, we have to put the battery. Okay, so what they do, they open the car backside or inside wherever the battery option is there, and they open, then they see inside number of battery, how many they want, and what is the capacity of the battery they want, is 1.5 volt or 5 volt, whatever it is. So now after they get the battery, they want to put it inside in proper sign. So in the sign inside the backside in the car, they mention plus minus inside. The right written plus minus. So based on that, those who are helping you, they arrange the battery in proper way. Okay, and then they close the cover and they give it to you. Now you check that your car is working. So how they know the battery symbol, negative and positive, and from the manual, or when they study, when they are bacha, okay, in schools or colleges, okay, they understand the symbol of the battery. So that is the basic motivation, understanding for study this course. When you are growing, when you are father, becoming a father, inshallah, that time your son asks you, Baba, father, daddy, how to fix the battery in the car. So that time also, for what you study in today course, it is very useful. When you are a great father and very knowledgeable father, you can show in front of your kids and in front of your family members also. Okay, so that is another thing, and you can see the symbol of figure A and figure B, and they give small line and a big line. The big line is a positive and the small line is a negative. So this is the symbol of the battery and symbol of the DC voltage source. Okay, the next one, Ohm's law. So we can say in electrical engineering, the Ohm's law is a father law. Okay, in family, we can say father and mother. They are the very important, pillar of the family. So we can say in electrical engineering, the Ohm's law is a father law. So what is the Ohm's law states that you study already in physics too. Okay, just you recall your mind. And what is Ohm's law? Ohm's law states that when voltage is proportional to the current, the time, the temperature and the resistance should be constant. So that is very, very important word. Some of the textbook, and they are not given clear condition or statement of the Ohm's law. I read it and some local other books, and they mention Ohm's law states that voltage is proportional to the current when the resistance constant. But what is the actual Ohm's law? And more accurate statement, when voltage is proportional to the current, resistance and also temperature should be constant. So why they said temperature also including? Because all the resistive material is varying according to the temperature. So that is two type of material we have. One is a positive temperature coefficient material, another one is negative temperature coefficient material. So we have to include the temperature also is a factor to decide voltage is proportional to the current with the constant resistance. Okay, good. So now the formula for the equation for the Ohm's law is a V equal I multiply R. V is a voltage, I is a current, R is a resistance. So where the constant R, this is the resistance they mention, and the equation is a Ohm's law. Okay, so now in the below they show you the symbol of the resistance. Okay, so the symbol of the resistance and the unit of the resistance is a ohm. You can write OHM or the symbol of the ohm, you can write. Okay, student. Okay, we stop now, and thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can write it in my email, and you can contact me through my phone. I give you my WhatsApp number, and if you write to my email, then I will reply to you. And thank you very much for today class. We will meet in next class. Thank you. Bye bye.